It's pass or fail time again.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and today we're gonna unbox and build the two new models from the Piety and Pain box set from Games Workshop. So this is the new battle box for the spring, season, which is always cool to see. Last season we got Ragnar Blackmane and versus Gazgul right about this time, right when GW started shutting down, unfortunately. But now we're back, and things are looking better out there. So this box set is $170, and we'll go over the value here in a second. I'll pull up the article on SpikyBits.com. But this is just a brief overview of basically what comes in it, and of course Lelith and the Palatine are the new models in this box set. So here's the website. It's just SpikyBits.com, or if you do a Google search for Piety and Pain value, you'll probably find this article right here. So we just kind of go over and we just break down the value of it. It's $170, which we already knew at some point. Now these are allocated, I think, 4 per store here in North America, which it's kind of the way things are right now. It's hard for stores to make a living. It's hard for people to get the stuff they want. It's just hard in general. But at least we got some new releases coming out, to keep ourselves occupied. So value-wise, on the Dark Eldar side, it's going to come with the 10 Witches for $36, the 5 Scourges for $34, Venom for $36, which seems to be sold out right now on GW's site from what I've heard. Lelith herself, now we put her at $40. She might be $35. It's hard to say. Drazar was $40. It is what it is. So MSRP is $146 right there, just on the values alone. Sisters of Battle, the Retributors are $55. The Palatine, probably $35 as well. But other sister characters were cheaper, so it's, again, kind of hard to dial it in for sure. And an Immolator for $75, which we've done the unboxing and builds of the Retributors and the Immolator. Not so much on the Venom or the Scourges, I think, because those all came out back in 2011, or even the Witches. Unfortunately, I don't know if we were doing unboxings. I might have to go back in the archives and check that out. I'm actually not sure, but we definitely have the sisters on here. The Immolator is going to take you a while to put together and build. The Retributors are pretty nice, really cool set that kind of goes. The models go together. There's a lot of pieces, but they go together well, and they look great. So the total MSRP value of both halves, it looks to be about $311, which means at an MSRP of $141. Technically, there's, of $170, there's a value of $141, which is pretty, we've seen about that across the board. Would we like the box sets to be, cheaper, like the 140 to 150 range from back in the day? Sure. But, will that happen? Probably not. So at least we're still getting these kind of values in these boxes, even though they're limited and hard to find. And maybe GW will, if there's a lot of demand, maybe they'll do a made-to-order reprint like they did with Indominus. It's really hard to say at this point. Back to the actual box itself right here. We're gonna get this open, pull this out of the way here, and you can see it's gonna be loaded down with sprues. It's not that big, it's not as big as Indominus or anything like that, and it's just a lighter cardboard, so it's got a little bit of heft to it because of the books and everything that's in here. The Lelith sprue and the Palatine sprue are very, very small, just a single 1 character sprue, and then you got the glass for like the Venom, and also the the Immolator right here. Your Scourges sprue, Witches sprue. Not going to take a super big look at these because we've either done them in the past or they're probably out there somewhere at this point. And here are the 2 sprues plus the chassis sprue for the Immolator, and then we've got the Venom sprue, which is strangely large, and the Retributor sprue right here as well. And we'll take a look at the instructions here in a second. This is the nice little poster insert, and I like that they put that side down, so hopefully this side isn't damaged and you can actually use this as a poster or hang it up in your room or something like that. And then we're going to get to the bases, the flying stand, some decals, the instruction manual, and then all the data sheets and everything, and all the little missions that you can play with them against each other in here. So all the data sheets and everything like that. No points cost, but we got the data sheets for the Palatine, of course, Lilith already, and the Dark Eldar Codex. But there's no points cost, and I think we've seen this already, but if we haven't, there it is right there. I don't remember, to be honest. Taking a quick look at the instruction booklet, I do like how GW lays out all the sprues now, and then you can see which ones are the new characters right there, and then they're going to tell you what sprue sizes go with everything. The Palatine's instructions are right here, and they're, you know, just looking at this, it looks very fiddly, the fact that she just got to glue the legs together and then onto, I guess, they line up somewhere in here in this torso, so I'm already, already got flashbacks right there. Two different hand weapons, looks like plasma pistol or a bolt pistol, and the backpack goes on like normal. Two different helmet options depending on which one, if you want, you know, her bare helmeted or helmet, you can do that. And then the rest of the instructions here, we're going to jump to Lelith, which I think was back here randomly in a... There she is. So there's Lelith. Now Lelith looks even more fiddly there than the Palatine, because you can see where they've highlighted these areas for you to kind of glue assemblies together. So that looks like the back of the torso goes, and there's this piece here, and it kind of like does like a little 45 and kind of attaches itself into it, and then from there you glue on her front, or no, that's her front. This is her back, and she's holding her dagger, which is also precariously kind of, somehow there might be a stem or something that locks in there, and then that assembly, I guess, glues onto the base legs, which I think this is actually a leg. Like, this is her bolo weapon, but I think there's a leg in there, and then it looks like it attaches to the torso at the thigh, or maybe it's her thigh, and I don't know, it's hard to tell. And then somehow that all goes together right here and locks together, and from the front you can see where it kicks out right there. That's probably that piece. So this is extremely fiddly, and then her face actually glues onto the head, which the head is actually part of the torso, and then this very, very tiny other dagger arm glues on here. Her hair goes onto the top here, her top knot, and then the base, this just looks very weird in general. Oh wait, there's a leg here somewhere too. Yeah, the other leg locks onto the kneecap, it looks like. So, and then this part of the base locks into this part of the base somehow, but I don't see where it locks in. It looks like there's a nub or something, so I'm not really sure about that. So we'll check that out too. So, and then poof, it's all together. So at least they give you the different, sometimes they don't give you the different 360 views. At least right here they do. So that might give some clues on how this actually goes together. Sprue wise, this is the Palatine sprue. You can see there's a lot of slices, a lot of dices, her legs glued together right there, the two different weapon arms. Very detailed. I mean, I hope this goes together very well. GW likes to hide the seam lines in the most inconspicuous of places. They're very good at it. So while it looks like a jigsaw puzzle here, in a lot of cases, once you get this glued together, you won't see any seam lines, or gaps rather, in the assembly. You might see seam lines. I generally don't trim them. So we can actually show them to you so you can kind of be aware of them and any gotchas. But it looks like there might be a few there. And then Lelith's sprue right here is all even bigger of a jigsaw puzzle. There's that little 45-degree part that locks into, I guess it was the front piece right here, which I guess that's definitely her front. And then there's her face, which glues onto her torso piece. Where's her torso piece? I don't even see it. Everything looks the same. All the food is poison. There it is. So there's, no, that's not her torso. So her torso is over here somewhere. I guess that's it. So her face is going to go on right there once you make that weird assembly, and then this rock piece goes into this rock piece somehow because they're both flat on the back. But I mean, look at all these little spindles and little well, spiky bits that stick on there, and blades and serrations, and wow, that's it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to put this together. It seems very fiddly. All right, and here is the Palatine all put together. So she goes together a lot better than I anticipated, and then you can see what I was talking about, how GW likes to hide the gaps. Actually, I think that's a gluing mistake right there. That gap shouldn't be that evident. I think I messed that up. She does balance on one foot, so be careful with that. You're gonna probably have to use some regular super glue, but for the rest of it, I used a super thin Tamiya or Tamiya, whatever you want to call it, thin glue, which is really great stuff. And she's very well detailed. Like, lots going on here, very dynamic. You know, she's got her little Inquisition, Rosarius, Crozius, whatever you want. I guess it's Rosarius. And then her sword right there. So bolt pistol arm. So that's her hot weapon arm. So she throw down her bolt pistol and grab her Wu-Tang sword right there if she needs to. I went with the bear head, which I think is way more dynamic, especially with the way the hair flows right there. I think it's a very cool, very nicely posed model. And then Lelith Lelith was a whole thing. Let me tell you what, like, you need to dry fit everything on this model. It is incredibly fiddly, and it goes together marvelously. Like, I am in awe of the design of this model in general, but everything I said in the preview a second ago, well, a second for you, not so much for me, was true. Like, her head, and you can even see the seam in her head. Look at that. You can barely see it right there using some of that super thin glue. It's all crazy. Like, this attaches here at her kneecap. Now, I figured out what was going on with the base. You just lay them both down flat against the surface and then just push them together. And there's two little nubs that glue on. So just put a bunch of glue down on the nubs and the base, and then you can lock it in. But I mean, check out the detail on this model. It's incredible that it's so dynamic and so well posed. But putting it together, you have to dry fit it. You have to really look at you know, the instructions there, because that little 45-degree part comes up and it actually forms part of this cowl right here, which is kind of crazy. And then this arm attaches to the back right here, and then that goes together and forms the assembly. And once you get that assembly together, it sockets onto the legs pretty well. And from there, it's a pretty easy build as long as you trimmed all the nubs off. And again, I'm sloppy with my glue work right here. That should not be like that. That's not the design. That's just my sloppy glue work. But once you get everything locked in and slotted, it goes together pretty marvelously. So it's pretty incredible how good this model really is, to be quite honest. And I thought this was a defect right here. You can't see it. Looks like a shadow in the light here, but that's actually her I don't know, her like armor plate, and there's depth to it. It's not like an open gap or anything. There's actually parts of her bare leg, I guess, or something in there, or skin or something. So if you're painting that, it's going to be a little difficult, but just be aware of that right there. But man, great looking miniature, amazing composition. Now these are on 32mm bases, just to give you an idea. And I have some guest painted miniatures here from Liber Demonica, just to give you an idea of how big they are. They started making bits and stuff. So definitely tall as a Primaris, and pretty much definitely got some height there if they were to go at it. And then when it comes to the Palatine, she's going to be a little bit smaller. Yep, definitely a little bit smaller, but on par with the rest of the sisters out there for sure. So overall, I think, you know, this is a great box set if you're looking to pick it up for either of these factions. Of course, you can split it with a friend. There's value to be had here for sure, but you know, other than that, if you know, it's probably a pass if you don't play either of these factions for the most part there. So thank you very much for watching our unboxing build of the new Piety and Pain, and of course Lelith and the Palatine right there. You can of course always try to get your hobbies for less from dicehead.com or Amazon or your local game store, but right now everything's still super hard to find.